Hi guys, it's Clarissa from the Crafty Middle Sister. I am about to show you a video on how to make a cute little Christmas ball ornament. Okay, in the video I show you how to make it using scrapbook paper, but I want to let you know that one of the first ways that they probably even made these things were by using used Christmas cards. It was a way to use something that they already had on hand, they didn't want to throw away, and it worked perfectly. So what I'm going to show you today is what you can use instead of scrapbook paper if you don't want to go out and buy scrapbook paper. If you have Christmas cards on hand from years past that you may have received, these work fantastic for the circles when you're going to make your ball. What you'll see is that you're going to take a piece of cardboard. Okay, this is your template, and you're going to trace around. For me, it was the scrapbook paper to make your circles. If you have cards, what you're going to do is you're going to trace your circles on the back of the inside of your Christmas card. Okay, so you're going to hold your Christmas card up to the light, and then you're going to put your circle on the back over whatever you want to cut out on the front. Okay, so I'm putting it back here, and then what it's actually going to cut out is this section here with this bird. Okay, so it's a great way to use up those old Christmas cards that you don't want to throw away. You can get multiple cuttings probably from one card. Here's another example of what I'm going to show you. You can cut out the cute little bear's face on the opposite side. You can come down here and cut out the cute little kitty. And then what you have left over, you might even be able to get some of the Christmas tree cut out. Same with, I have another one here. Here's a photo of Jesus and Joseph and Mary. You can cut them out. If you put your circle in the back, you might be able to come up here and just put, some of the background in it. It's up to you, but it's a great way to use up those Christmas cards so that you don't have to throw them away. You can always use them as gifts. They're a nice sentimental piece. Use them as gifts next year, and who knows, you may even gift someone a ball that has a card that they gave you, which makes it really super cool. So stay tuned. You're going to see the video tutorial on how to make these cute, adorable Christmas balls. Hi Crafty Sisters, it's Clarissa from the Crafty Middle Sister, and today we are working on a craft. It has been a while since I did a craft video, so I'm probably going to be a little rusty, so please hang in there, but I do hope you join along. Alright, so the craft that we're going to work on today is a craft that you may have actually made before. Years ago, people would want to use up the Christmas cards that people had sent them, and this craft is the perfect way to use up those old Christmas cards. Let me show you the craft. Right here. It's these little cute balls that are made out of paper or old Christmas cards. You take 20 circles, glue them together, and they form this adorable little ball. Now this one is a very small one. It's actually smaller than my smallest one, and I will tell you the smaller ones are much more difficult to make. So this one I can't even imagine. But my mother-in-law gave us this one, and as you can see, each one of these little sections is actually a circle of paper that's glued together to 3 other circles, okay? And then she finishes them off by putting glitter around the edges. Okay, and then here's the bigger one. This is another one from her also. It's a little bit different. Nope, that's not for you. Okay, so here it is. The glitter's a little different, but same concept. This one has a hole punched up here to put a hanger through it. But yeah, it's pretty neat, isn't it? But it's not a cat toy. Okay, so all of these little sections are Christmas cards. Okay, great way to reduce, reuse, recycle, right? All right, well, that's the craft that we're going to be working on. And I know you look at these and you think, oh my gosh, they look very difficult. I don't even know how you do these. Honestly, it's very simple. All right, so I'm going to show you how to make a medium size Christmas ball. All right. If you're just getting started, this is probably going to be the size that would be the easiest for you. This is my large size, but the medium size is not that much smaller, so I think you're going to be perfectly fine starting with that. If you have difficulty with the medium size, then I would go with this size, but once you get the hang of it, it's really pretty simple. All right, so this is my large size. Now, the one difference that you can see is obviously it's larger, but number two, I did not finish mine with glitter, and that's just personal preference. While I like the glitter, I kind of like the simplicity of not having all the glitter on it. And number two, I just really hate the glitter mess. We tried it with our Halloween balls that we designed, and the glitter was everywhere. So really, it's personal preference. If you want to do glitter, you can, and I'm going to give you a tip on the glitter in here in a second. But this is the large size ball, and then this is my small size ball. Okay, it's a little bit bigger than my mother-in-law's small size, but it's still a nice, cute little size, perfect size to hang on the Christmas tree. Okay. Anyhow, okay, so as far as the glitter, if you decide that you want to put glitter on your balls, I have one here that I started, but of course the cat destroyed my setup, so I have to find which one it is. If you want to use glitter, my suggestion, oh, over here it is to use glitter glue. It is so much less messy than regular glitter, but that's just my opinion. But here's one that I had started to put the glitter on. Okay, do you see it in that little section there? Now what I did was I just took the glitter glue, and I went down each side, okay? And now I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'm gonna go back when it dries, and I'm going to do the other side, okay? And then if need be, I'll also go down the point where the paper's edges, okay? Because that'll help cover up that raw edge. Some people might not like that raw edge. I mean, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but I'm okay with it. Okay, so like I said, it's personal preference. It is cute with the glitter glue, and it's even cute with the glitter if you're willing to put up with the glitter sticking to you everywhere, and I'm not sure if I am, but you can pick these up at your craft store also. I got a couple different colors here that kind of go with my whole Christmas theme. So, all right, so let's go over what all you're gonna need to make these cute little craft balls. First thing is you're gonna need your paper. Obviously, they're your, you can either use your old Christmas cards, or you can go out and you can get cardstock or scrapbook paper. One of my favorite things to do is look for the little seasonal 6x6 booklets that you can find at your local craft stores. I have a couple from over the years, and what I really like about those little 6x6 books is that they have patterns that are pretty small, and for these smaller projects, that small pattern works really, really well, okay? Because you really don't want something that's so big and overwhelming, because it's gonna not really show up well if you are doing a smaller size project. So I would definitely suggest checking out those little booklets that you can find at like Michael's, Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure, Joann Fabrics may even have them too. And then if you go with regular size scrapbook paper, like I found some, if Cookie lays down here, I can show it to you. I found some patterns that have very small writing. These are bigger patterns, but they still work really well. Candy canes, snowflakes. You just don't want something, for instance, like a plaid that's humongous, because you want to try to get all the different colors in the pattern in your circles. Okay, so you're going to need paper. And then the next thing that you're going to need is you're going to need something heavy like cardboard or a heavy cardstock. anything that you can trace a pattern onto, cut out, and then use that as your tracing pattern to cut your circles out. Okay, so what I did was I had a piece of cardboard and I went around the house and I found some different size circle things that I could trace to make my sizes. This is the large size, this is the medium, and this is the small. So when I made this big ball, I used this size circle for each section, okay? You're gonna need 20 sections. So me being the way I am, I love to have different patterns for each section. So I need at least 20 different sheets of paper, okay? I probably have closer to 40 right here, only because I like to have options. Okay, but if you're not really into crafting and doing stuff with the excess paper or the extra that's left over, then just get your 20 pieces. But because of using the different sizes and the fact that I like using the 6x6 paper, you can notice here that you're not going to get many circles out of one 6x6 sheet, depending on the size of your circles. Right here, I'm going to show you. You can kind of see there. Like this is the back of one of my sheets. This is what you do. You trace your pattern onto the back of your paper, okay? This is about what I could get out of one 6x6 sheet. These larger sheets, you can obviously get a lot more, okay? And if it's a big pattern on the front, I tend to use the bigger circles and less little circles because, like I said, you're getting less of the pattern. The pattern's almost too overwhelming for your small circles. All right, so once you trace your pattern onto your paper, okay, you've traced your circles on, you are going to cut out your circles. And I mean, you kind of want to be careful to stay on the line because you want your circles to all go together nicely. You don't want big ugly edges on your circles. And if I am tired from cutting out my circles, I've been maybe doing it for, I don't know, a while, and I need a break, my hands need a break. If there are pointy edges on my circle, when I go to put my project together, I'll just take the scissors and snip off the hard little edge. Okay, so you need paper, okay? You need your cardboard to make your pattern. Obviously, you need scissors to cut your circles out. All right, so once you have all of those things, you want to grab your cardboard again because you're going to need to cut a triangle out of your cardboard also. So you've cut your circle that you've traced onto the back of your paper. This triangle is going to be your folding pattern, okay? So this is the large size circle with the size triangle that I chose, okay? And basically what you want to do is you want to just form as even as you can. I didn't use anything scientific. I just drew a triangle within the circle, okay? And then cut it out of cardboard and then just cut it down just a hair because I didn't want it to quite reach the edge of the cardboard, as you can see, okay? And that's what I did for each size circle, okay? Okay. And my small one, I actually have two sizes that I chose for the small one. Okay, that one. But I've been liking this little one here. See that, okay? All right, so you're gonna cut that out of your cardboard. All right, once we have that all figured out, you've traced out your circles onto your paper, you've cut your circles out, okay? You know you need 20 circles for one ornament. Now, because I chose to do 3 different size balls, I just trace all my circles out at one time, okay? So then I just cut them out at one time. And then what I do is I put them in baggies, all my circles, okay? And that way I have them when I want to assemble my balls, okay? So as you can see, I have been a very busy beaver cutting all those out. And then when you go to make your ball, I start pulling out circles, okay? And you don't really have to worry about any patterns clashing or anything like that. I mean, if you want, you can choose, like, I don't mind if I have a couple in here that are stripes. I don't mind if I have a couple plaids in here, because you know what? I don't have to put them right beside each other, and that's the beauty of it. They're just fun. The colors and everything, it's just fun seeing the different patterns. You're not looking at it saying, oh my gosh, well, there is a stripe one next to a zigzag, okay? It's just cute to see the ball as a whole, really. All right, so we've cut all of our 20 circles out, okay? Next thing, you want to get your glue, okay? Now, I've done 2 different ways, and I will tell you that a glue stick is going to be your best friend here. I assembled my first one with a liquidy type glue, and this is the Elmer's Craft Bond. It's clear, it has a dual tip pen, and while I really do like this glue, and I do actually use it in this project, I don't recommend using this to glue your circles together. I recommend using a glue stick, and here I have the Elmer's Craft Bond extra strength glue stick that's clear. And the reason I like using this is because when you apply it to your circles, it gives you enough time to kind of take your fingers and shimmy the edges, just enough to get them all lined up perfectly, but yet dries quick enough that you don't have to worry that when you're gluing another side that you're going to rip the other side apart. A glue that's really wet like this one, it's so much harder. Just take my word for it. You're going to want to invest in a glue stick, and I would get a wet glue also. A white regular school glue from Elmer's works great too, and we're going to use that liquid glue for the string, okay? So you need that string to hang your ornament from. And like I said, you can use any type string. I picked this string up at Target, back in their like gift wrap section. I have some hemp string, a very thin jute, this cute string here, I got in a 3-pack at, I think it was Hobby Lobby. Okay, nice cute Christmassy colors. One year at the Target dollar spot, that's where I got the cute, very thin jute. And I guess I forgot to bring out, I have another cute red and white string, very similar to this one that I got at Target. So lots of different strings that you can use, but you're going to attach that string, okay, with the liquid glue. So I recommend the 2 different glues. All right. Okay, there we go. There's a cute little white and gold string that I used, and that's what I'm going to use on my project today. All right, so let's start. Okay, so what you're going to do is you are going to take your medium size triangle, okay? And what we're going to do is you're going to lay all your circles out because you're going to be using them right side up, okay? Don't make the mistake of doing it backwards, because I am guilty of that. My daughter, when we were doing our very first ones at Halloween, she's like, Mom, is this right? She had it upside down. She was folding it. I'm like, yep, that's right. She had them all folded, and then bam, she went to assemble it and was like, okay, we did them all backwards. So, and I actually started assembling a ball like that. I didn't even catch myself until I had it, the whole top almost assembled. So trust me, it makes a really cute ball, but it is very difficult. Okay, so what we're gonna do is you're gonna take your triangle and you're gonna lay it down on your pattern, okay? Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. And when my mother-in-law first explained this part to me, I'm like, I don't understand what the big deal is, but I'll just take her word for it. You know, you gotta see if your pattern, you want the top of the triangle up or if you want it pointing down, whatever. Okay, now I completely understand. Because some of your papers have patterns that you want to see right side up on your ball. Let's take this one for instance, okay? You see the little snowman? When you go to assemble your ball, okay, you're going to glue 5 circles together at the top, okay? All of your pattern has to face up unless you don't mind if your pattern's facing sideways or down, whatever. So that pattern is going to be folded with the triangle. Let's see if I can find that paper that I laid down. Okay, so that pattern would be folded like this, okay? Your point would be facing up on the pattern. Your middle section, you're going to glue 10 circles together, okay? And there you're going to have different facing triangles. So right here is that snowman pattern, and what do you see? The point is facing down. So when you're gluing that middle section, you're gonna have points facing down and points facing up. So if you fold your paper with the point facing up, with your pattern facing up, okay, you're gonna have to put it in a section where it does face up. So in other words, I couldn't have put this circle up here or it would have been upside down, okay? It's seriously not as tricky as it sounds. Once you get the hang of it, it's like, okay, it's super easy. This one here in the middle, okay, I could use that one down below because your bottom of your circle is 5 circles also, okay? So you have 5 circles up top, 10 in the middle, 5 down below. And the pattern and the point go up. At the bottom, the point goes down, but the pattern still faces up. So I could use this snowman pattern, this exact circle, down below. I just can't use it up top, okay? So let's put it all together and see how it works. All right, so if you end up folding, and I'm gonna fold mine with the point up, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to lay it on the table just like this, okay? And actually sometimes I actually fold them off the table. I just kind of fold them in my hand. But you're gonna lay your triangle on your pattern, on your circle, okay? And you're gonna fold one edge over, okay? Make it nice and crisp. Then you're gonna take and you're gonna fold the other 2 sides over, okay? Just like this, okay? So once you get those folded, what I do is I kind of go around and get a nice crisp little edge on each one, okay? And that's what you're left with. You're left with this little piece of paper that has your folds, okay? That little triangle in there is going to be this little triangle, okay? All right, so we are going to fold another one. Here's another one that says Merry Christmas. Well, obviously I don't want that sideways or upside down, but I'm gonna try something different. I'm going to fold it with the point at the bottom, okay? So I'm gonna put my triangle on it the opposite way, okay? I'm gonna fold my 3 sides, okay? Okay, kind of drop that out. Give a nice crisp little tweak to all the different sides, okay? And now that one, that's how that one shows up, okay? So I had this guy folded that way and this one folded this way, okay? It's gonna make sense, right? All right, So let me just fold up a couple more of these. Okay, it's easy when you have like a nice solid color because you don't have to worry about anything. And just make sure that when you're folding them, you have your pencil trace mark. If you have some that maybe still shows up where you cut, make sure that it's on the underside, because when you fold it up, it's not gonna show up because it'll be glued against another piece. See how the thicker paper really holds nice, and that's why Christmas cards hold really nice. All right, let me get the rest of these folded. Okay, and here's something fun. See this pattern? If I want, I can do it like this, or like this, or I can even do it sideways, because I really do like using stripes just on an angle. You know, like a candy cane? Exactly. So it's just personal preference. I'm going to do it with my zigzags going from side to side, and this is one of those ones where when I fold it like this, I can turn it either way because there's no right side up or down. Okay, so I'm gonna fold this one. Okay, got that. Okay, fold the other two sides. Okay, I'm gonna do a nice, okay. And I'm going to do that one on an angle, like I said. Having dry hands doing this is difficult because your paper does not want to cooperate with you. Okay. And I just mix different up and downs with my triangle. With different patterns, it doesn't matter if the triangle's up or down, which is one thing that I like, to use papers that it doesn't matter. Here's Santa Claus. I think I'm gonna put him with the point facing up, okay? Which means then he'll have to go in a section where the point is facing up on the ball. Okay, so I think I have all of these already folded over here. So I'm going to bring them in, okay? Pre-folded some, that way they were done. All right, so here we have a pattern that has music notes and stuff. That one I chose to put the point at the bottom. Okay, candy canes, they can go anyway. And if I decide that like I wanted this pattern to go off to the side, isn't that right, Cookie? If I'm putting my project together and I decide I want it to go side to side, I can just turn this however I want. Okay, it's not rocket science. Nothing's right, nothing's wrong. So do it however you like. All right. So now here's the other fun part, okay? And if Cookie puts his head down completely, you're gonna get the fun. All right. So what we're gonna do is I pre-assemble my ball. I lay it out. Cookie's, he decided he wants to take a bath in front of the camera, but all right. So I lay out my ball the way I want to assemble it. That way it makes it so much easier. I'm not like going, I don't know, what should I pick? I have it laid out exactly how it's going to be glued together. All right, so I like to mix any and everything together. I don't want to stick two reds next to each other, okay? So I try to assemble it in a way where everything's pretty cohesive. I don't like too many lights together, okay? I mean, you can do two stripes beside each other, whatever floats your boat, okay? So I'm going to just kind of show you. Here's where I'm taking my snowman that I did in this direction, and because he's facing up, those first 5 at the top face up. So I guess I'm gonna put him up top. Okay, so I have, let me stick one more in here. That one's, okay, so I chose my top section, okay, and hopefully you can see it. I know with the cat laying there, makes it a little difficult. Maybe he'll lay down here and then you can get a better shot. All right, so once you have your top section the way you want it, you're gonna add the second section. And here's where you're using, remember you're using 5 circles for the top, 10 for the middle section, and then you're gonna use 5 at the bottom. I have 2 stripes and I don't want to run my stripes beside each other, so I'm going to space them out. Here's my Merry Christmas with the point at the bottom of the pattern. Okay. Okay, all right, so right here, that looks like a star, okay? Once we start assembling it, it is going to turn into a ball. All right, so how do we start? right, so we're gonna take our glue stick, okay, and then I just grab one of the pieces, and what you're going to do is you're going to put your glue on one of the flaps. Okay, so you're just going to put your glue all over one of those. Okay, one of the side ones. Okay, and then you're going to take the one that's right next to it, and you're going to glue those two. And gotta do something here quick. Can't see without them. All right, so you're going to glue them together. Okay, and this is where the glue stick is perfect because I have enough time and play to push them so that I can line them up perfectly, or as perfect as can be, okay, together, and then I kind of smash them together, okay, and there's what you get, okay. So then I take the next side, okay, because I'm working around that top section. I take the next side and take my glue stick and apply it to that side. Take my next circle and once again try to match it up as good as I can. And here's a case where sometimes your triangle is not perfect. Trust me, mine's not. So my folds, one of the sections may be bigger or smaller than the other two sections, and you know what? It's fine. Like this one, it's a little off, but it's fine. No one's gonna look at it and say, oh my gosh, your circle was not folded correctly. Okay, but you're gonna glue that. You're gonna press it down, and then you're gonna, since we're moving around, we're gonna take and we're gonna glue that next side. Okay, plop your glue stick. Okay, take your next one. Okay. I don't know if you can hear the Christmas music behind me, but are you listening to Christmas carols yet? All right, we got one more to glue on, so I'm taking that last edge. This is why a glue stick is perfect, because see how they stay together? You don't have to worry. When I used the liquid glue, we had to clamp them together. It was horrible. Yeah, I don't recommend it. All right, so take that last one, glue it to the edge that you just put the glue stick on, okay, and smash it down. Okay, and then this is what you're gonna end up with, okay? Kind of looks like a little hat. All right, before you glue these last two sections together, we are going to take your, oh, hold on, fell on the floor. We're gonna take your string, okay, that you tie a double knot in, okay, however you wanna do it. I usually just I take my string like this, and then I just loop it, and then loop it again, tie a knot, cut it off. Okay, so you're gonna take that, and then what I do is I take my liquid glue and I plop some on my knot. Okay, nothing scientific. I just plop a bunch on it, okay? And then I take my little hat top part and I stick that in the middle, okay? Okay, kind of pull it in towards the middle, okay? And then I quick take my glue stick. How about it, Cookie? I take my glue stick and apply the glue to one of the open edges, okay? And then clamp them together, And when you clamp them together, kind of make sure that the middle, the little, is directly in the middle. Okay, and then, I'm not even sure which one. Oh, right, it was this one. Okay, and then okay. All right, so then you are left with this. Okay. All right, so now I looked to the way that I had it laying, which was like this. Okay, so hey, can you scoot? Okay, thank you. All right, so I look at the way I had it laying, and I make sure that that is the way I had it. I'm pretty sure that's how I had it. All right, and then you're going to start your second row. So all you have are flat edges here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take, I started the same spot, take my glue stick and apply it to that flat edge facing me. Okay, hopefully yours doesn't have cat fur in it like mine does. All right, you're going to apply that, and then you're going to take the flat edge and glue it to the flat edge that you just applied the glue to. Okay? Okay, and then you're gonna smash it down, and then that's what you're gonna end up with. Okay? Then you're going to move to the next flat section. Okay? And we're going to apply glue with your glue stick again. Okay. Okay, we're going to take our next section and line her up. Okay, and then we're going to get it together. Now, if you look at your corners and say, oh my gosh, my corners aren't really lined up, which I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not. You can kind of see how they're not quite lined up. Don't worry. We will not have any issues there. That's the beauty of this. You can kind of shimmy everything. It's still going to glue together perfectly. It'll be fine. All right, so we're just going to keep going around our circle, and we're going to glue our next flat one. Okay, so all that's remaining are the ones that are pointing up. Or at least will be remaining, okay? And this is where choosing which way your pattern's gonna go, which way the point of your triangle goes on your pattern, this is where it's so important, because if your pattern, if I had this music sheet paper facing, if I had the point facing up, okay, I wouldn't be able to put it here because obviously, okay, but the way the ball's gonna hang, the music's gonna be hanging the right way. All right, and this is definitely overlapped. I don't know if you can see that. That corner's definitely off, but it's still gonna work out perfectly fine. All right. And let's do our last flat edge here. Okay. Put some glue on here. Okay, our last one. All right. Okay, and now our circle looks like that. Okay, looks like one of those claw games. Okay, I'm gonna claw Cookie's face. All right, now we're going to take the up points and put them in the middle there. All right, so we're going back to square one where we started. This one is gonna go right in here. So what I do is I kind of fold up one of the edges. Okay. And I put the glue in. Okay. Take my edge and line it up as best as I can. Okay. All right, and then here it gets a little confusing here, but all right. So sometimes I do it a little differently in here, but here's how we're going to do it today. Before I glue this little wedge into the section permanently, I'm going to glue the next wedge onto its neighbor. Okay, so we're just going to go around and put the rest of that middle row in, okay, before we glue the whole middle row together. Okay, so I'm going to take this one and stick that one on. Okay. Okay. All right. And then, so we got these two glued together, these two glued together, and the neighbor's glued together. Okay. Now we're going to take this guy and glue his neighbor on. Okay. So basically you're just kind of filling in that gap with the neighbor that it was sitting beside. Okay. Okay. Gonna move on to the next neighbor. Okay, he's lonely, he wants his friend. So we're gonna grab him. Okay, put the glue on, grab the piece. Okay, once I get it lined up to my liking, I smush it down. And then we got one more who needs his friend. So I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to put it on the edge. Okay. And then take my Santa, make sure he's facing up the way his pattern was folded. Okay, and then I'm going to smush him in there. Okay, and then, so here we go. Here's your ball. Okay, now we got to assemble that middle row completely. Okay, we got to glue it together. So you can start anywhere. We're going to take, since we did them in twos, we're going to take a section, okay, fold it up, and we're going to add the glue to one of the flaps, the flap that's next to another side, not the bottom flap. Okay, here's its friend, it's right beside. We're just going to glue those two together. And here's where, if you need to shimmy it because it's a little off kilter, you can. Okay. Okay, let's do the next one, and then you'll see how it's starting to take shape. All right, so we're gonna add some glue to this little edge. Okay, this one's really off. So we'll see how you can fix that. Okay, so we added it to the side. Okay, and now we're going to take that little side and we're going to stick them together, and I'm going to shimmy it to make this corner match up better. Okay. Okay, so we're working our way around. Okay. I'm going to take Santa and put some glue on him. Just make sure that you're putting it on the side flap and not the bottom flap. Okay. Okay, side that. All right, now we're gonna match up these two edges, which seem to really like the glue. Okay. Okay, smash them. Okay. Okay, we got two more to glue. All right, so take this corner and add some glue. Okay. Line it up with the one beside it. Smash it together. Okay. And then we're going to glue our last side flap. Okay. All right. We have that middle row completely glued. Starting to take shape. Okay. So now we have just the bottom 5 pieces left. So we're going to set it down the way we had it so that we know where each piece goes. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your glue stick and starting at one of the flaps, you're going to cover it with glue. Okay. Glue your little flap onto. Okay, once you get it where you want it, I smash it on. Okay, and then I move to the next one, and I just follow the row around again. Okay. Okay. Move to the next one. Okay. Get that one glued on. You just keep moving your way around. Okay. Glue that last piece in. Well, next to the last piece. Okay, and then, okay, so this is our last piece. We're gonna add your glue. Okay. This is our Merry Christmas. It's facing that way, the right way, so that you can read it when it's hanging on the ball. Okay. And make sure it's lined up right around the edge. Okay, and then smush her down. Okay, so how do we get that to be right on the bottom? All right, so we are going to take, starting anywhere, and I usually try to start with one of the ones that was first so that it had a chance to dry a little bit. We're gonna grab one of the corners, okay? And then we're just going to line them up. Okay, once it's lined up, okay, we're just going to smash it together like we've done on all the other edges, okay? And then I find it easier to take the loose piece and apply the glue to it than I do the fixed piece that you just glued. Okay, so we're going to take and glue that to that fixed piece. Okay, so a lot of moving around. Imagine this on a small one. Okay, so let me see if I can get these matched up nicely. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to add some glue to this side. Okay, and then we're going to match this side up. Sometimes I don't have much grip on my fingers. I have to do whatever I can to get some grip. Okay, and then we are left with our last circle. What I do is I put glue on both flaps. Okay. So I will put it on both sides. Okay, and once you get it on both sides, you're going to carefully try to get it into place. Okay, and you may have to kind of shimmy things around a little bit to get them where they need to be. Okay. You just kind of shimmy it until the glue, since the glue is not completely dry. Okay, and voila. That's it. And then you can kind of move your little fins if they need to be straightened out. But that's it. That was really pretty easy. And this is the medium size. Okay, this is the large size. And then this is the small size. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed making the craft, and if you do make it, make sure you post it on Instagram. You can tag me at the Crafty Midsis, or if you make it on Twitter, post it on Facebook. Make sure that you tag me so that I can check it out. All right, thanks a lot, and I will do another craft with you soon.